Will Metz is a young organic vegetable farmer near Greenwood, South Carolina. Here he tells us about the history of his land and how he came to farm it using soil health practices.
The history of our land is my grandfathers and great-grandfathers have farmed it for generations. After my grandfathers aged out of the farming practice, to maintain the land, my dad allowed a guy to start raising hay on our property. Initially he was using tillage practices, and then they converted over to no-till practices and spreading chicken manure, but yet harvesting the hay, and the land would lay barren for slightly extended periods and have exposure and would pull the nutrients out of the ground. So when I inherited the land, it was very nutrient depleted and did not have very much biodiversity because of monoculture hay crops. As I began my farming career, I did extensive research in developing soil and best practices and made some investments into a seed drill and a roller crimper and some other tools that make soil building a lot easier. I've been continuously cover cropping portions of the land that are out of use for numerous years now, and the effects of using these cover crops and keeping continuous roots in the soil and cover has grown my biodiversity exponentially. We see many more species of beneficial insects. We see mycorrhizal relationships between the legumes and the grain crops in the cover crops. And it also has helped the wildlife out on the property significantly. Oftentimes I'll have discussions with my neighbors about their hunting experiences and how they never see any animals, and I just kind of shyly grin and say, yeah, it's because they're in my 20 acres of cover crops over here gorging themselves most of the time. You know, I haven't done a whole lot in the ways of putting in cash crops behind cover crops other than in my market garden, but overall the cover crops greatly amended and increased the organic matter in my soil. Now I've switched to a more permanent bed system in my market garden, and it allows me for continuous rotations of cover crops along with my vegetables in these permanent beds, which has significantly increased my yields that I get off of my permanent beds, and the overall soil health and quality has greatly improved as well.